the online series. Today is day 4, and today I'm gonna be welcoming the Queen, Michelle Moffatt. She is joining us from the UK. Let me see if she's already here. Hi, Michelle. I see you. I'm gonna invite you in just a second. Let me turn off notifications on my phone because it's pretty loud. And I just want to do some housekeeping items, and I'm so excited. I have a huge announcement for you guys. Okay, so let's start with housekeeping items. So today is day 4. That means that the interviews for day 1 are going to be disappearing today. So as of maybe in a little bit, you're not going to have access to day 1 for the interview for Fardy. It was Fardy, Danielle, and Joy. So those interviews are going to be going away. But don't worry, we're going to have a full replay of all the interviews next week. So if you're just joining us today, if this is the first time that you're hearing about the event, do not worry, you haven't missed a thing. And you'll be able to watch all the interviews. You can binge watch next week. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to have a replay March 10th through the 12th. And here's the best part. I'm so excited to let you know that Christy Baldessari, the Sports Illustrated first bold swimsuit model from the United States, is going to be joining us as our keynote speaker. She is going to be with us on Wednesday. So if you want to watch her interview, please make sure to sign up. The interviews are only going to be delivered to your inbox. So it's so important that you register because the interviews are not happening here. We're just doing a quick recap, a quick Q&A here on my page. But the interviews are actually being delivered every day on your inbox. Also, we're creating a fabulous community on Facebook. So if you register, make sure to jump into the Facebook group. We have, a lot of things going on, but so you're supported, so you have a community, so you can interact with each other. So make sure to register, go to the Facebook group, and join us on the lives every day. So without further ado, I'm gonna invite my guest for today. Misha, she's here. Yay! I'm so excited to talk to you again, Misha. By the way, guys, I want to tell you that this wig is her idea. Hi!
Hi, how are you?
Hello! Oh my gosh, how are you? So good to see you.
Yeah, good. You're looking amazing. How are you?
Thank you. Well, this was all your creation. So I want to share with them, because I've had a lot of questions about the wig because everybody's saying, my God, Val, you look amazing. Well, guess what? I didn't even pick that for myself. So you can tell that Michelle knows what she's doing because she picked this out for me and is amazing. And I would have never picked this out for myself because I would have thought, well, there is no way I look good on a blonde wig. No way. And look at this. So thank you, Misha, because you have changed my life. Honestly, this feels like a next level for me because I was not going to try this out on my own. So thank you for picking this out for me. This is so beautiful.
You're so welcome. I knew you would suit it. I've just kind of got this thing that anybody can be blonde, anybody can be brunette. It's just about getting the right tone for your skin. And for me, I always thought I used to dye my hair jet black, naturally kind of ginger coloured.
Yep.
And I thought I remember saying I will never be blonde. I will have blue hair, I'll have pink hair, I will never have blonde hair until I lost my hair. And then it's like I didn't suit blonde wigs, but I just didn't find the right blonde. And then it's like the cool ashier tones work with yellow undertone skin. And then when I saw you totally need a blonde. I'm saying so.
And I feel that it warms up my skin because my skin is pretty fair. And so this makes it a little warmer and I don't know, it's perfection. So thank you.
You always look great no matter what, so.
Oh, thank you, love. So I want to start with, for those people that are just meeting you yet, I would love to ask you a little bit about your story. You have such a powerful story that is so inspiring to me because you have gone through so much adversity, yet here you are, rocking it, right? With your business, in your health, thank goodness, right? Completely to the other side, managing life, just doing your thing, being the queen that you are. So I want everybody to get to know you a little bit more. Tell us a little bit about your story.
So basically, in regard to my hair loss kind of story, it was pretty rapid. It was back in 2015, the summer, and I was working as a registered nurse in RN at the time, and I was non-clinical. I was getting ready to go to work, up early in the morning, went for a shower, washing my hair, and I was like, what is that? And some hair came out, and I thought, it looks more than it is. And I came out the shower, it was this, and then I had a bald patch the size of the palm of my hand, just like that. And I just kind of was like, my family were all in bed, my husband, my kids, just go to work and just like act like nothing's happened. And my hair was jet black, dyed jet black, so it was like the contrast between white skin and black hair. Put a bandana on, went to work, and just kind of blurted out, people, why are you wearing that? It's like, because my hair's falling out. Just like said it. And then within about 5-6 weeks, from head to toe, I was totally bald. For me, it was difficult, but for me, the thing that really kind of, I felt broken was when I lost my eyelashes. I remember saying to people, like, to make a joke, I would say, can't wear mascara, but I still have to shave my legs. But as much as I would say that, at the time, I would cry so much at home. I made my husband take down the mirrors from our bedroom, from any room that wasn't the children's rooms, basically. I didn't want to even look in a window and see my reflection. I was very kind of joking on the outside, but on the inside, I felt broken. I felt like this was worse than any physical condition I'd ever had, and I'd had things that are considered physically dangerous and serious, but for me, like, we're not robots, we're not all physical, we're not just physical beings, you know, we've got our intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual side, and hair loss to me affected every part of that. And it was just, I just felt like when I look in a mirror, you know, what you see, you assume is like the physical embodiment of your identity. So when that is changed, it's like, I've lost it. Who is this? Who am I? What am I? Like, I would never have understood the kind of complex emotions that I felt. And honestly, back then, I swore no one's ever going to see me bald. I will wear black wigs that are the same as how my hair was. Nobody. I remember going to my first alopecia meeting with people, and one of the girls, Lorna, there, we were sitting in this restaurant, and I had on a headscarf, other people had headscarves, wigs. She'd on a wig and just went, it's so warm, and whipped her wig off. And I remember being like, what did she do? What is, oh my goodness, people can see, does she know that there's actual, like, people here, they can see that taking it off? I would never do that. And then, like, I think because I had such good support from the beginning, I was very lucky. I had a great doctor, an amazing dermatologist. I joined the Alopecia group and had a sense of community. There was a big feeling of loss, and I didn't know where to reach out to. You didn't have this back then, or that would have been great for me. But I did have support, and before I knew it, in a matter of time, I was just like whipping off, oh, I'm too hot, whip off my wig, put it in my handbag. Grey. If I had my own biological hair, I would have never allowed it to go grey, ever. And now I'm like, got grey hair, got silver hair.
I love it.
You know, it's like, I can be anything. I can have black hair in a day. And at the time, back when I lost my hair, buying a wig for me was not, it wasn't a happy thing. And I kind of, that was part of me when I started my business. I think back to how I was, you know, for me now, I'm like, woohoo, hair mail, yeah, new hair. But back then, it was quite devastating, and getting a new wig was not, it wasn't a happy thing. It was spending money to have something to make myself feel like me, but it wasn't me. And the emotions that went alongside that until I had more acceptance was just, you know, so huge. So part of when I began my business, I was like, how can I try and do this and make things look more like a gift and send people a nice message with their wigs on, a wee gift card, or what can I kind of do to help others? What would I have loved to have had? So what can I give back to others, you know? And I think I've had a lot of kindness, I've had a lot of support, I've got amazing friends, I've got amazing family, and I don't take that for granted, because I know a lot of people don't have that and don't have that support. And when you were telling me your hair loss story, you moved away to college, you were by yourself somewhere else, your first language is Spanish, and everybody else's first language here was English. And at that really difficult time in your life, at that age, on top of it all, you had to go through your hair loss. And I just think, like, when I heard about your story and you were telling me that, you know, I kind of felt, wow, that's incredible. And like, listening to Laura and the other girls, I think there's so much that we can all identify with, you know. And when we were speaking briefly earlier on today, and I was saying, it's amazing. Even still to this day, when I hear people telling their story, I'm like, I totally get that. Oh, that totally makes sense. That's me too. And I think if you have people telling stories and we can all hear each other's message, for people who are new to hair loss, it's okay if you're not okay. You don't need to be happy. You don't need to be changing your hair. You don't need to be great about having wigs. It's okay to feel like crap. It's okay to struggle. It's okay not to be okay. You are allowed to grieve the loss of your hair. You know, it is a loss. And it takes time. It's a journey. And you don't need to be okay with it. You just need to be okay with being you, you know, and know that there's support. And I suppose the good thing about hearing so many different stories from everyone, like all of us across the world, this thing you're doing is amazing. Everybody will be able to identify with, yeah, identify with her. I don't get that. I get this part of her and that part of her. And then you realise, actually, I'm not really alone. And it's one of the amazing things, I think, with social media. It can be used for such a positive when it's used properly. And like what you're doing, it's really getting a positive message out there. Yeah. Sorry, that was a big long chat.
No, that's perfect. And I have to agree with you 100% that if I had social media back in the day, my story and my life would probably be different, right? Because to be honest with you, I do feel that it took me 10 years to get over this, right? Like to be comfortable with it because I had no one, right? And now we have this. So that's why my mission is to spread the message, create community, do the events so everybody knows that they're not alone. And I know I sound like a broken record, but there are 6.8 million people with alopecia just in the United States and 143 million all over the world. So we are not alone and we get to break the stigma together. So we have to all keep having these conversations, keep posting on social media, you know, being yourself. And actually, I really want to highlight something because I've been talking a lot about social media, but to be honest with you, I was having a conversation with another wig sister this week where we were saying, like, listen, it's not about only social media, because if we get too comfortable being open only with the hair loss community, we're not doing anything, right? Like, what we get to do is to have these conversations with our family, with our friends, with our coworkers, right? Like, we get to share a story with them. So the stigma because of the beauty standards get broken in the society, right? Because it's not only the hair loss community, like we're all great, we're family, that's awesome. But if we want to take it next level, we have to have these conversations with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And I think that for me as well, I'm not good at keeping things that, I mean, I could keep a secret for anyone, but when it's about me, if I need to share it, do you know? And like for me, my way of coping was I blurted out. I told her I was losing my hair because that made me feel like I was in control. I couldn't deal with the thought of people going, is that a wig? What's going on with her? What's happening? So I was like, if I put it out there, I'm in control of it. And at first, I did share a photo on social media. It was like, nobody will see me like that in real life. But if they ever do, I don't need to see that first reaction in their face, like, oh no, it's awful, or, you know, I don't want to see it. But, you know, I kind of became quite comfortable, and I was very lucky. And I mean, it got to the stage when I was in like my RN job, when I was still working in ICU, I'd go in and be like, oh, I'm too hot, just like whip off the wig. And like if a patient was awake and conscious, I'd be like, listen, I'm wearing a wig, do you mind if I take it off? I don't really care, you know. And I would just walk around, and like I'd been on MTV on one of the tattoo shows and had and like, for me, it's funny, initially when I lost my hair, I would go to like the supermarket, the grocery store, I'd be walking around. If anybody even looked past me, I would be like, oh my goodness, they're looking at me, they know I'm wearing a wig, they can tell what am I doing, I look so stupid. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you would never say to someone else, you look terrible, everyone knows, you wouldn't, so don't be cruel to yourself. Nowadays, it's funny, I'm kind of the opposite. Like I remember I was at like a pantomime, a kind of theatre thing with my family, and this guy, like, I had no hair, I was all dressed up, and I actually had a head chain on, but totally bald. And this guy was like, walked right down the side of me and was staring at me as I was talking to my husband. And my son was like, Mum, can you not see that guy's like being really weird and staring at you? And I was like, I didn't even notice. I don't notice anymore and I think the thing is, the reason I don't notice is because I'm okay with it. You know, like, I was projecting my own insecurities onto others in a way by going, I don't feel comfortable, so I'm assuming they don't. You know, I don't know. I was judging myself and assuming that other people did because I did, and we all do it. And you know, I think it's something we're all very guilty of these days, is comparing ourselves to others and thinking that we're somewhat less, whether it be physically or, you know, like I've got photos of my Instagram and I've got, like I have so much foundation on my face you could build a town. You know, like I've got so much makeup on, and I've got my wig on, but equally I'm kind of like, I want to try and remember to post photos with no makeup, can see my eye bag, can see my lines and wrinkles, and you know, I don't look like all made up every day. This is the first time I've worn makeup for ages. So, you know, don't judge yourself to what you see in social media. And the thing is, I genuinely believe that beauty is multifaceted. You know, it's not, we might only see one image in the media, but maybe that's not that we need to change to accommodate and match that. These girls and guys are beautiful that are in magazines, but do you know what? So is the woman that lives next door, or the man that lives down the street that might have a missing limb, or loads of body hair, or no body hair, or, you know, we're all different. And instead of trying to meet what a magazine or whatever wants to show us, or the media want to show us, maybe the media should be meeting what the rest of us are, you know, like. And I think that the kind of whole positive body image thing is a massive thing. I'm totally fine being bald, and I have friends who are very private and they really want to raise awareness, but they don't want to put themselves out there. And that's why I'm very much of the opinion, if you are okay with it, if you're okay sharing your story and you are okay being out there with it, then do it, you know. And these are people in the background. Like, one of the first people I met with alopecia, she doesn't tell anyone. Nobody knows apart from really close family and other alopecia people. It's not a public thing for her. But she made such a big impact in my life. She was the one that first said to me, it's okay to grieve the loss of your hair. And I always said to her, she's like, I feel like you do so much because you're so open and I don't. And I says, but honestly, I feel like I might not be who I am if you hadn't said those words to me. Like, you made me feel like my emotions were valid. So we can all play our part, whether it's being out there talking about it, or whether it's just providing support in the background. You know, you don't need to, you don't walk out your house being bald. You don't need to do that. It doesn't make you better or worse whether you do or don't. Just be yourself. But I think the more of us that are out there, and if we do share all these things, the more it's seen, that kind of it's more realised. It kind of breaks barriers and stigmas, and you know, it helps to kind of crash through all of that. And it's like, oh, she's got blonde hair, she's got brown hair, she's got no hair, she's got red hair. You know, she's got thin hair, thick hair. I don't care, because you know what you might find your worst feature, somebody else is going to think it's your best. You know, we would be very boring if we were all like a big load of Barbie dolls. So everybody has beauty, you know, whether that's something you recognise or not, that's fine. But I think the message that we need to put out there, and that was a thing for me as well with, I knew that there wasn't anything that would make my hair come back. There was no medical evidence to support any treatment. So I was like, I don't want to have false hope or whatever. And maybe instead of feeling like we need to fix people, I'm not broken. I don't need fixed. You know, like there are people who,
you're whole and complete.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, that's cool. Now I have the freedom of, if I want to have hair, I can have hair. I can go from black hair to silver hair in a day without it frying my hair and bleaching it, because I just put it on. It's my hairy hat. You know, I can do my hair for a wedding and have it ready a week before. And, you know, it's difficult. It's hard. The emotions are really awful. But I think, you know, we just need to get the message out there that it is something that so many people go through. And people, there was one of my bosses at work had said to me, he was like, oh my goodness, I've never seen such a natural wig, like one of the wigs I was wearing. And I was like, yeah,
because they're great now.
But then I said to him, I was like, you probably have. It's just that because you know that I'm wearing a wig because I tell you and you've seen me bald. I was like, I know for a fact you'll have seen other people wearing wigs. You just don't know because they're maybe not as loud about it as me. I just have no patience to keep on a wig if I'm hot. I'm just like, whip it off, whatever, I don't care. You know, and it's like, I don't know. I think the most important thing for me, I want people to feel okay in their own skin and their own body, whether that be with hair loss or anything else, you know, when you do have a changed appearance or a visible difference, it has massive emotional impact. And I'm not trying to get away from that by being light-hearted and talking about wigs and changing them, but you know, I felt very broken. I don't want anybody to feel that. I know you don't want anybody to feel that. I know that you want to really promote acceptance, and you know, so do I, and so do so many of us. So I think we can really do good things if we all kind of club together and get that message out there.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned something really important, that it's about how we feel, right? Like I feel like when we lose our hair, we start focusing more on the way we look. So we want to look a certain way instead of focusing on how we're feeling, right? And I do believe that the people that look good is because they're feeling good, right? Like they're like I believe that if we, you know, if we are not feeling good, it doesn't matter how many wigs we get. We can get 300 wigs and we're still gonna feel and look like shit, because we're not like, we get to see through you, right? Like sometimes we don't even think about this, but we can. Like I remember I was sharing this with somebody that when I started wearing hair, I was so embarrassed and I was so feeling so inadequate that I would wear my hair like almost on my face. Like I would be like this. And, you know, I'll go to meetings like that and I will talk to people like that, just like barely looking at them. And that showed, right? Like, not, and then when I started feeling more like myself and when I started embracing me, then people started noticing, wow, like you look amazing, da da da. And it was the same me, same hair, because back in the day, I didn't even change the colors. Like I would wear my bio hair color, the same piece, everything the same, so people wouldn't notice. And when I started changing my, like myself, the way I view myself, the way I love myself, people started saying, wow, you look amazing, this and that. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I look the same. You know, I'm wearing the same piece, nothing has changed, my hair hasn't grown. But it was me. It was me loving myself and changing that relationship with myself that made me look like, you know, like I was happy, like I was finally living my life. Okay, so we have a few comments. Laura says, yeah, I will always wear headbands with my wigs. I was so self-conscious. Yes, just brought more attention to my wig. Yeah. And Kim says, absolutely, it shows. Somebody asked which wig you were wearing. I don't want to ignore her question. So let us know.
Me or you?
What were you wearing? Yeah.
I was wearing the Johnny No Cameron and the shade
Storm.
Yeah.
My favorite.
You actually wore when you were interviewing me.
It's my favorite. Yes.
Let's be we'll be wig twins. Yeah. But you know, see what Laura was saying as well, like I can totally like understand that, and like wearing headbands and trying to cover up. And you know, I think like for me as well at the beginning, I did feel very much, I don't know, like everybody knows. And like my hair, I had dyed my hair jet black for years. And
Same.
my first was a second-hand wig. And then I bought this second-hand wig off eBay that was blonde. I had never been blonde, and it was not even the right blonde for me. It was horrendous. And I remember putting on makeup to try and match my wig, to try and make it look natural. And I went out for dinner with like my husband and kids, and I'd gone to the bar to like order the food. And the girl said to me, she's like, oh my goodness, I love your hair. And I was like, what? And I thought, and in my head, I had just lost my hair. I'm like, she knows. Why is she saying this? Why is she doing this? That's horrible. Bad. And then she's like, I love your hair and I love your makeup. It goes perfectly with your eyes. And I was just looking at her and I was like, and I genuinely thought she knew. And I was like, it's a wig. I've lost my hair. And I lifted the ear tab so she could see just bare skin. And her face went purple, absolutely purple. And she's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. And that was the first time that I realised it's actually my discomfort that I'm assuming other people know, and they don't, you know, and you assume, and it's totally that kind of the inner you and confidence. And that's, to me, like for friends or like, you know, like for in relationships and whatever, for me, I think people become more beautiful as you get to know them more, because it's that personality that shines out, and that's the true them, you know. It's not about this outer appearance, it's a shell, you know. Like, I mean, I've got my big daft lipstick and all my eye makeup and everything and drawn on eyebrows, but like at the end of the day, when I wash it off, it comes off every day. But I'm the same me inside. Whether I have a full head of hair and I'm all glammed up, or whether I'm just like sitting in yoga pants and a top and no makeup, no hair, just sitting. I'm the same person. I'm not any different. And it took a long time for me to genuinely kind of feel and believe that. And I do still have times where I think some people have said to me, I wish I was as confident as you. I wish I was like as happy with my appearance as you. And sometimes I'm kind of taken aback and I feel like, I don't feel like I am that confident. And it's not that I like how I look. I don't like how I look, but I accept it. I don't think I'm ever going to like, I mean, when I was a size 0 and like super athletic and had gorgeous long hair, I wasn't okay. I wasn't happy with how I looked, no matter what. And I think that's part of just, however, now I'm at the stage where it doesn't matter how I look, I accept it, and I am so accepting of how I look. And if somebody judge me on this outer shell, then that's okay, but that's their loss, you know, because at the end of the day, whether I'm big, small, hairy, bald, whatever, I'm the same person inside. So either accept me for me or don't, and it's fine. And you know, it's just so hard. I think at the beginning stages with hair loss, it is so difficult, and it's totally normal to feel like you're never going to be okay. I never thought it'd be okay. I swore nobody would see me that big. I couldn't even imagine. Oh, my dogs. I couldn't even imagine the thought of being alive in a year with no hair, no lashes. No, like, it was genuinely that bad for me. And you know, I think this is the thing a lot of people don't necessarily understand, because they're like, but it's not dangerous, it's not going to kill you. And I'm like, I don't care. I've been in intensive care on life support with breathing issues, lung problems, heart problems, all sorts, and I can deal with that. That is physically, but I'm okay with it. This has had the biggest impact on me because I'm not a physical robot. It's not about what affects me physically. It's here and in here, you know. And when I need to deal with these changes emotionally, mentally, that's a big thing. So hair loss is really difficult, but you know, there is support out here. You're doing this amazing thing. You have your site, you've got everything running, and I really hope that people will find this and be able to get some help from it and feel some positivity from it. And you know, I kind of feel like if I can be okay when I felt so broken, anyone can be, you know. And I think at the time when I was so down, I thought there was literally, I could not go anywhere but up, because I couldn't have gotten any lower than I was. So it kind of forced me to rebuild in a different way, you know.
Yeah, no, same here. And I experienced that at a really young age, right? And there was two choices, you know. I would either die or I will have to live with this, right? But it had to be my choice. Nobody was gonna come save me, and that's the one thing that I want to share with everybody is like, guys, nobody's gonna come save you, right? Like, I know that when we're so depressed and we were so down, we kind of want somebody to come say everything's gonna be okay, your hair is gonna come back, or you know, you're gonna be fine, or whatever. And the thing is, not your parents, not your therapist, not your doctor, like nobody's gonna come save you. And I know it sounds harsh, but that's the reality. It's like we get to choose our life. We get to choose ourselves and say, I'm going to put myself first, and I'm going to live with this. And I'm going to make... Yeah.
You know, that's so important. And I don't think I understand why people sometimes when we say these things can think, but you don't understand. Nobody knows how you feel. I've never walked in your shoes. You've never walked in mine. So we could have the same condition, might react differently. However, none of us can help what life throws at us. You know, like if I could choose what to throw at me, I've had so many blessings, but at the same time, I wouldn't choose to, you know, I'm going to have to take medical retirement from being a nurse, which is very hard for me to deal with. You know, I can't even bend over without falling now. I have my bowel on the outside of my body, and I've got my soma bag, I've got my hair loss, I've got other health things. But it's not about what happens, because none of us, everybody has something in their life, you know. And I think you're right. We can't choose what happens to us, but we can choose how to deal with it. We can choose how we do it. You know, if everything is a negative, don't get me wrong, I don't mean that things still hurt, you know, like I've still been down, I get down, I still get down, I struggle to deal with things, but I can choose that I am going to, like just now, I might not be dealing great with my physical changes. However, I'm like, that's okay. And it's okay that I'm working through it just now, but I am going to accept it because that's my goal, acceptance. And with hair loss as well, I was the same. It was, I don't know how the hell I'm going to get there, but acceptance is what I need to be happy. It's not finding a miracle cure. It's not spending so much money to try and be something I'm not. Instead of that, I need to accept how I am in the now, you know. And I think,
Yeah.
like, you know, I think we all have different things. We all have things. We can choose to be okay. If you need to get help from a therapist, a doctor, whatever, that's totally fine. Real support in the hair loss community and social media, that's great. Whatever works for you. But, you know, I think you're totally right. We need to set our mind on what we want. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It's not like you can go,
Right.
I'm going to accept this. Oh, cool, I'm fine with it. No, it's going to be a journey. Sometimes you have to go through the hurt, the pain, the struggles, and basically the kind of grief cycle to come out the other side. You have to go through the awful emotions to come out on the other end of it. But we can, you know, we can. And even for people out there who feel, no, but I can't, you know, it's just try, like for me, I just think you need to accept your emotions. Don't block them out. Don't try and bottle them up. If you need to cry, you can. If you want to feel angry, feel angry. It's not vanity. It's about your own identity, you know? So you can grieve the loss, go through those emotions, because once you've gone through the emotions and dealt with them, it's not going to be a fast process, but you can come out the other side, and then you can realise it can make you stronger. I thought alopecia was the biggest curse of my life, and I know I've said this to you and you said the same, and now I think it's one of the biggest blessings in my life. You know, and I know you feel that too. I would have bet every penny in my bank account that that is not anything I would have ever said. Never.
Yeah.
But
no, for me, I personally believe that alopecia is my greatest teacher. Right? Like literally my greatest teacher. I am the woman that I am today because of my alopecia. I have become the most, like the strongest I ever been, the most confident, right? Like I was sharing this with somebody the other day. Who knew that I was going to be my most confident with the least amount of hair? Never, right? But here we are. So I do think that, again, we get to choose what we make out of this. And, you know, I believe that these things, I mean, I don't want to say it happens for a reason, but I want you to think about like what good has come out of this, right? Because at the beginning, everything is bad. We feel terrible. We don't look good. We feel like we don't look good. We're hating life. But I want you to start looking at the good, like what good things have come out of this. And I promise that if you focus on that, you're going to start seeing the transformation, right? Like, who are you as a person now, before and after, right? Like, how have you grown? Like, what have you learned? Like, focus on all those things. Michelle, so I had the opportunity to ask you 100 questions the other day, but today is all about the audience, and I want them to have the opportunity to ask you questions. So guys, if you have any questions for Michelle, please put them in the chat. This is all about you today. I already ask all my questions. So I want you guys to go ahead and put your questions in the chat and let's get the conversation rolling. I want you to have the opportunity to chat with Michelle. So, okay, let's, while they put in a question, I do want to I want to learn about your stoma. So tell us what happened and where are you at in that journey right now?
Yeah, so basically it's, you know, it's what had happened to me. So most people a lot of people will have a stoma because of maybe an inflammatory bowel disease. For me, it was more of a rare thing. So what actually happened was I bent over to pick up a pen basically, and I prolapsed 2 discs in my back. They put pressure on these nerves, quadricular nerves. So normally they need to do, it's like a surgical emergency. So they need to operate within 12 to 24 hours, really, to get that resolved. So I went to hospital, they confirmed it by MRI, sent me to a specialist hospital. but I didn't actually have surgery for 4 days. So that resulted in permanent damage to the nerve supply in my bladder and the nerve supply level. So I can't just go to the toilet to pass urine anymore. I use catheters, and I just put one in, pop it out, chuck it in the bin. That's the only way I can empty my bladder. And for my bowel, it was basically just so lazy and just sitting doing nothing. It didn't work any longer. So they had to give me loads of laxative, and I wasn't really open with it at the time it was going on until after the fact. But I have no feeling around the middle section of my body, so I didn't know when I needed to go. I didn't know when it was coming out. I didn't know when I was even sitting in my own feces, and I was wearing nappies, and I was not coping. I didn't cope. I did not cope at all. Thought of living my life like that was just like, it was just unbearable. So when I was told it was going to be permanent damage, the only option to give me control, because I couldn't even go to my children's school because I didn't want them getting bullied because, oh, your mum pooed herself, because I didn't know if that was the reality of what I was living, which was hard for my husband, like, waking up and it's everywhere, and it was a bad time. But surgeons had said the only thing that would give me control was to bring my bowel to the outside of my body, so create an ostomy, have a colostomy, so my colon is brought out through my stomach, and there's a bag that I attach on that collects all my poop. So I've got my poop bag. But and I know for so many people as well, that creates massive impact with body image, because your butthole that doesn't function anymore, but you've got it coming out your stomach, and I totally understand, like, that must be horrendous. For me, I never experienced, I think, like, the surgeon warned me, you could feel this, people can feel terrible, and I remember saying to him, I'll be able to deal with it, because I went through those emotions when I lost my hair. I actually said this to my surgeon. I was like, I've been through this physical, my body is a shell as far as I'm concerned now. I don't care. The reason that this is affecting me so badly is because I can't be a mum, I can't be a wife, I can't be a friend. I'm not me anymore. I'm the way I am. So when I had the surgery, the outcome of the surgery was that I have control again. I've taken control. Yeah. I would never have chosen to have this done. Who would want to have this? Who would choose to go bald? Like, well, not really many people, So it's like, I didn't choose for that to happen. And I remember as a nurse thinking, looking after a patient with an ileostomy and thinking, that poor man, he's only like in his 40s and that must be horrendous. I could never deal with that. And then here's me only a few months later in my 30s having surgery and genuinely thinking it saved my life. I couldn't have lived my life not being a mum, not being a wife, not having friends. And I felt I had lost that. So I chose to take control of that situation. I chose that, yeah, my body's going to look different. And there is a big stigma as well. And it's like, I mean, if I was going to jump in a swimming pool, it would be a normal reaction. If people saw my bag, they might be like, oh, I'm getting out. These bags are waterproof. They stay on. They're so difficult to remove. You're not going to be floating in poop, don't worry. But, like, I think the thing as well is I understand that's a massive thing with body image. And it's another, like, I know I've shown photos of myself. I'm overweight, I'm plus size, I've shown photos in my bra and these amazing pants by this company that I just adore, because I know people who've had stomas for 15 years and they didn't even know you could get special underwear. So I'm like, do you know what? I'm not a model, like a size 0 whatever. That's cool. I'm okay with that. Like, but do you know what? This is me. I'm tattooed.
You're rocking
I've
it.
got scars. I've got stretch marks. I have my own designer cellulite. I don't care. And you can see my bags because, do you know what? It's okay. Lots of us have got them. You don't need to share it if you've got one or not. But totally just...
And it's you.
Yeah. And
so
I'm just saying, I've got Kazia Pause, Katarzyna, she's my friend. I'm just saying she's a doctor. Do you know? And it's so funny, like, she's been a good support to me as well, like, through it all, because I have had a few meltdowns and I have amazing friends. One of my friends is actually here just now, and like, I'm so lucky. I do have amazing friends, and when I've gone through, when I was really struggling with before I got the stoma, it was really basically incontinent with feces. That was just horrendous. And I would message my friends, and I remember in the hospital, I found a photo on my phone the other day and I nearly died when I saw it. And I was sitting wearing a nappy and just a t-shirt, and it was like a big it was a nappy, an adult nappy, and I had been crying, and I'd taken a photo, I don't know why, and sent it to my friend, and I just saw it reading back on text messages, and I was like, oh my goodness, I feel sorry for that girl. And then I'm like, that girl was me. Whereas now I'm like, do you know what, I do look different, and I do have these differences in my body, but you know what, I'm cool. Like, I don't have a functioning butt anymore, but I have it on my stomach. I have no hair. I'm overweight. I have to wear a special orthosis to be able to stand and walk so I don't fall over. I have so many things that people would be like, oh, that's just totally the opposite of what you'd expect for beauty. And I'm like, this is the best I have felt with who I am, as accepting myself. I still have a long way to go. I still doubt myself a lot. But physically now, I'm just kind of like, I do want to lose weight because I want to be healthier. I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want to be the best Michelle. But in regard to just for a physical appearance, I can look how I want. You know, I can put on red lipstick. I can put on no lipstick. People have gone on at me about, my top lip was vanishing, and I got lip fillers 2 years ago. They're still here. And I know having people make a fool of me for it, that's okay. I'm okay with that. If people don't like it, that's totally fine. I got that from me though, you know, and I'm just very much of the opinion, however you want to look. I can take control of my looks. If I want hair, I'll have hair. If I don't want hair,
100%.
you know, when you're in Florida, I'm like, oh my goodness, how does she wear a wig in Florida? I was in Florida 2 years ago with my family.
It's so hot, right?
Orlando. Oh my goodness. I picked my wigs in advance to take on holiday. This was the look I sported. It was ridiculous. I was just like, I could not tolerate it. And then I thought, you know, it also emphasises for me how difficult actually it must be for so many. I live in Scotland, it's cold here all the time, you know, and I can wear wigs. But then I think there's also the difficulty with people who want to have hair. If you want to wear a wig and have hair, there are days I don't care that I'm bald, but there are days I'm just like today I've had a wig on all day and I'm like, I want to have hair. I can't imagine living somewhere that's a genuinely difficult thing to do in Florida, if you're in California, if you're in Mexico, or anywhere that's not Scotland or England, basically, you know. That's a difficult thing as well. It's the physical discomfort. There's just so much that's difficult, but you know, we can take control. We can totally spread that positive message. And like, I think I watched your interview with Laura. I had missed it the other night, and then I had only watched it. Was it last night? I watched it, and I was sitting crying watching it, and I was just like, oh my goodness, she's so amazing. Like, and I
Speaking of Laura, she actually asked a question. Let me pull it up. So Laura asked, any situation that will still make you worried or just think twice about being bald in? Any situation that you might feel a little uncomfortable being bald?
I don't see, to be honest, like, not really. Not really. I think like that's bad. I mean, like, there are times where I can be very insecure in my appearance, but now it's more, I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't like that dress looked amazing on that size 0 model. Why does it not look like that on me when I'm like 10 sizes bigger? Like, you know, it's things like that. I would say if I choose to go out being bald, I could go to a wedding, I could go to anything being bald like this, and I'm like, fine. I would find it more difficult. The only time I could think I would feel it difficult, Laura, is possibly if I went somewhere with a wig on and then I wanted to remove it, I would be like, I feel I need to explain myself, but actually I don't.
I've only done that once because it was really hot.
Well, you know, funny story. So John Reynolds, who owns John and O, the owner of John and O, him and his wife Stella, they are good friends of mine. Now, the first time I met them, they were actually in Scotland visiting friends, and I got this phone call saying, would you meet us for dinner? And I'm like, me? What? Why do you want to meet me? Like, I'm just a wee Scottish crazy. Like, and I went to meet them. And I was like, what wig do I wear? Obviously went John and O wig, and I have a John and O custom, so I had my custom wig on, and I'd done it all nice. And we were out for dinner, and my wig was long, and my daughter had actually said to me, watch you don't get your dinner and your food. And I was like, and this really fancied it, I swear, oh my goodness, like this pure amazing 5-star restaurant, we're sitting, and I said, do you mind if I take my hair off? I'm really warm. And they were like, no, that's fine, do what you want. But I think they expected me to maybe go up to the toilet, take it off and put on a headscarf or something. I just like whipped it off, put it in my handbag. By the way, don't ever put a wig in a handbag. That is not advice from me. But handbag, and I'm sitting, and I remember Stella just looked at me and she's like, "You just do this?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I turned around and all these people in the restaurant were just like looking at me, like whipping off my hair, and I was like, "Yeah, like this is what I do, like whatever."
You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
I would have sworn that is not anything I would ever do. I nearly died the first time I saw somebody doing that. I was like, "What's she doing?" And then I'm like, it's just my norm now. I think my kids are just like, what's the point you wearing a wig? It'll be off in 5 minutes, and or it'll be on, off. And it's just, I think I'm okay with it, you know, like if there's a day I don't feel comfortable being bald, I'm probably not going to be comfortable with the size of my butt or like the size of my feet, or, you know, like there'll be, it's more about how I'm feeling about myself overall. But in regard to just being bald, you know, it's sorry, I've got dogs behind me here.
No worries.
But yeah, no, I'm like, I think every situation I'm okay. Oh, Laura's saying she does it.
Yeah, Laura says, I did it on a walk today, felt amazing. I totally agree. So my story was at the beach. It was my birthday. I had just gotten a new piece and I was so excited. So I went to the beach with it and it lasted, I don't know, a whole 20 minutes. And I had to take it off and I legit just went, chop. And my husband was just like, okay. Because I've never done that before, but I couldn't take it. I was thinking, okay, I'm either going to ruin my day and be hot as hell because I want to wear my new hair, or I can be comfortable, just be myself on my birthday. So I took it off. But speaking of that, I think if you guys were here when I was talking to Laura on Tuesday, I believe, be careful with that if you're just, you know, if you're on the beach and you don't have sunscreen, because I have burned my scalp really bad.
It is so painful, so painful.
Yeah.
Like, I think, yeah, like it is really bad. The first time we were on holiday and I didn't put in fact, no, I did put sunscreen on, but I think I put like maybe factor 8 or something on. But I was fairly new to having lost my hair. I was abroad, so I didn't really stink here. I was in the sun. I burned my head, and you know, the worst for me at that time, that was difficult because that night when I was going out for dinner, I wanted to wear a wig, and I was like, it felt like I was sandpapering my head, and I've got eczema as well. And like, it's funny, Laura said to me for this chat as well, like me and Laura, and like she's got her eczema and I've got eczema, and I get it around here and I get it right behind my ears here and here, right where my blooming wig sits. That's where I get it, and when it flares, wigs are just so intolerable. So having that with sunburn, if you then want to wear hair, you know, I'll definitely get sunscreen on all the time, like factor 50 plus, no matter where you are, like just do it. But you know, I think if you feel free to do it, it doesn't matter if anybody's there or not. If you're just by yourself, you're outdoors, even if it's for a second that you've got the confidence for the first time to take that wig off, nobody's around, that's amazing. And it feels so kind of freeing and so liberating. It's like
baby steps, I feel like, right? Like we get to train ourselves to be comfortable with ourselves, right? This is not about other people watching. It's about you feeling comfortable with you. So start practicing by yourself. Go on a walk by yourself. Take it off and just get used to it. Like train your brain that this is okay. You're not gonna die, because that's the thing that happens is like we get into fight or flight mode. We get anxiety. We get stressed out. So it's like training our brain that it's okay to not have hair. Nothing's gonna happen. And like little by little, baby steps, you start getting comfortable. Guys, we only have about 10 minutes left, so I want to make sure that you ask all your questions. If you have any more questions, please put them in the chat because we only have 10 minutes left. Laura says, avoiding the sunburn. Thank you, wise ones. Yes, please be careful.
Definitely. That's definitely good. Oh, I saw Wendy asked me a question, I think, a minute ago. Wendy, didn't you? I'm sure I saw something, except I didn't actually answer it. Oh, did you say what? I think Wendy asked, what look does your family like best?
Oh, yes. What was your favorite? What's your favorite look?
I don't know. What my daughter's here, my younger daughter. What do you like best? Like, what look? If I'm bald, if I've got a wig, what do you think's best? They don't. She just went, I don't know, whatever. They don't care. You know, it's actually, you know,
That's my mom. Yeah, I love it.
I've said to my husband before, do you think I should wear a wig? And he's like, I don't care, do whatever you want. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm like, tell me. And he's like, I don't care. And I should be really happy that I'm getting that response because he doesn't need me to wear hair. But I'm like, why can't you just tell me what you prefer? And he's like, I really don't care. And then I'm like, that's so cool. And like, I've always tried to make a point of, I don't want my kids to see it. Yeah, they do accept it all. And I don't want my kids to ever feel shame. And I don't want to feel like I have to wear a wig that they need to be ashamed of me. And they were, the younger ones, when they were at school and they were just very early into school, I knew that it was like kind of, I didn't want them getting picked on because I was bald. So I would wear a wig, but I would change it a lot. And it's so funny, like my younger daughter, Dara, she had actually said, she was only like maybe 5 years old. She asked for a book about alopecia, and the Alopecia UK charity has books.
You told me this story so beautiful.
Yeah, she took it to school, and then my son did the same and wanted the teacher to read it to the class, and it was like bonkers. And then my son was saying, don't worry. Somebody went, oh, that must be Zacharias, Mum. He's bald. Don't worry, it's alopecia, it's not cancer. That's what this kid said to their mum, and I was just like, oh my goodness. And everybody was like, are you Zach's mum? And Zach was like, well, she's the only bald one here. And I'm like, they're so okay with it. And like Dara, when she was younger, like she'll die off from me saying this. She's sitting beside me just now. It was a few years ago, she was maybe coming up for her 7th birthday, and she went, Mummy, I know what I want for my birthday. And I said, what? And she's like, can I get alopecia? And I was like, what? She's like, can I get alopecia? And I'm like, no, you can't get alopecia for your birthday. She's like, can I get it for Christmas, please? I'll be good. And I'm like, wait, have I tried to make this so normal that she thinks this is cool?
That is best.
But then I was like, that's pretty awesome. And she's like, yeah, that would be cool. And, you know, but kids just accept whatever goes on. And I think, like, people, like, she's hiding, you know, like, we need to learn to be like that again in ourselves, to be accepting of who we are, you know. And oh, here's people say, hi Dara, no, she can rock the wigs. Well, do you know, I've actually used her a few times with toppers. I think I did a topper wig review and I made her do it. She's like, okay, I'll come on your YouTube and I'll wear a topper. So I'm like, I don't want to put on it. But
that is honestly the best story. Like I've heard it, I've heard you tell this, and every time you share that story, I get emotional, right? Like I want alopecia for my birthday. Like this is somebody that has watched you rock it, so like she's looking up to you so much that she wants to be like you, right? And sometimes we're so down on ourselves, and that's another message that I have for you guys today is that you are already amazing. Right? Like, I know we feel so bad about ourselves, but other people can't even picture themselves losing their hair. And you are waking up every morning, moving on with your life, living every day, and you're still making it, right? Whether you feel bad or not, you're still making it. You're already a badass just by waking up every single day and going through your day with hair loss, because there are people that can't even fathom the idea of living the life that we live. So give yourself some credit because you're already freaking amazing. All of you.
Exactly. I mean, that's it. You just, you know, you're getting through your day. That's all any of us can do. You just get through the day, and, you know, day by day, things do get better. Just let yourself feel what you need to feel. Whether it's hurt, whether it's anger, whether it's, it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever emotions you have, they are valid. You're allowed to feel them. You have to feel them, actually. You have to experience them. And it does take time. It can't be sped up. You're getting through the day, and that's difficult, and you can learn to be okay with it. And it's very easy to say, and I know it's not easy to get there. I mean, it wasn't an overnight thing for me, you know. I just don't want anybody to be in so much pain that, you know, we all go through the pain and the hurt. It's okay not to be okay. Genuinely, it is. And only by going through that can you come out the other side. Was I always okay going out no matter what? No. Was I okay being at work bald? No. Am I okay with it all now? Yes. But it's taken time. It's not an overnight process, you know. And another thing that I feel is so important to note is the likes of what you see in social media. If you see photos of me or you or anyone and you think they've totally got it together, you're literally seeing a snapshot of a fraction of time. So, like, I'll put on the best photo that I can find that I've just taken, about 20 of, put it on, but you're not seeing my life in between. What goes from one photo to the next? It's actually the bad, the hard moments that take you from one photo to the next. It's the story in between that matters, and that's what you don't see in social media. And so don't judge yourself by somebody's social media page. Let yourself feel your feelings and know that that's okay. Be kind to yourself. Imagine you were talking to your best friend, you know, like,
Yes.
what would you say to them? Say that to
You
yourself.
will never tell your best friend the kind of shit, sorry, pardon my French, that you tell yourself. You wouldn't let anybody talk to you the way you talk to yourself, right? Not you, not your partner, not your neighbor, not your friend. You wouldn't allow anybody to disrespect you the way you disrespect yourself sometimes. Like, I've been there. I used to be so mean to myself when I first started losing my hair. So don't, like, just quit that. And with that, guys, we have 5 minutes. We have time for one more question. If there are no questions, then I'm going to ask Michelle to give us a last piece of advice that you want to share with us. Maybe you can share that, and if I don't see any questions, then we close out with that.
Sure. I think, like, honestly, I just want to say thank you to you for having me. And, like, I feel kind of really honoured because all these other women you've got, I think, are so inspirational. I think, why do you want to talk to me? But, do you know,
All of you.
Honestly, I think for all of you out there, if you're going through hair loss, please just, if you need to speak to somebody, whether it be somebody professional, whether it be wig scissors online or whatever, that's fine. Do what you need to do to be you. Know that it's okay to be you. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to feel pain. You can get through it. You will get through it. And it's okay if you don't see that just now. You don't need to see that. So, yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Michelle. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for everything you do. You have the biggest heart. I've never met somebody so open and generous and legit, just dedicated to serving this community, because I know everything you do comes out of a place of generosity, a place of service. And we are all so thankful. So thankful. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you from the bottom of my heart. For everybody, because I know you have touched so many lives, not only mine, not only the people that are here, but I know in your journey you have touched so many lives, and you are literally changing and inspiring all of us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody, I will be live tomorrow with Jennifer Brown, so you don't want to miss that. Her handle is Being Mrs. Brown, and she's going to be here live with us. Just stay tuned for the time. And thank you, everyone. She said, Carrie says, I've joined late. See you on Zoom tomorrow. Yes, everybody, you can still sign up. Make sure to log in. Make sure to register so you can get all the interviews delivered to your inbox. Thank you, Misha. Have a great evening. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.